Bitcoin price update going into the weekend. We're going to start off on the 4-hour, what to watch for the next several days going into the weekly close. Let's get right to it. It's the 4-hour chart off of our 49K lows. We're doing what we need to do, which is bulls climbing back up the stairs. A-okay so far. Rejection so far on the 200 EMA, this pink line, but no big deal, right? We're just mimicking kind of what we did back here. We need to continue that. So when we come back up, we must break this 200. Currently just above 62K, and I don't care how high we go, not important there. What is important is if we do break this and continue higher, right? That's a big if. We need to flip that level to support 62K. So between now and the close on Sunday, that's what we're looking for, at least on the short time frame. Continue to stair step. If we don't, and let's say we come back up and put in a lower high, or reject again off of that 200, much higher odds of rejecting lower. And like if we start to close under that 21 EMA back below 58K, then we're probably going to try to retest either the lows here or way back here. So one or the other. Look for that going into the weekend and the weekly close. Let's go out a little bit to the daily chart. And again, nice spring off of the lower Bollinger Band back inside. Retest of the 21-day EMA, the yellow line, holding as resistance so far. So again, that 200 EMA right at about 59K. We need to hold that. So far, so good. Let's zoom in a little bit here. If we close under that, we can see I have an alert set. You can do that as well. Daily close EMA 200. So we need to not make that go off, at least on more than a close. So closing prices, you can put on a line chart, and you can see there. Right, we do not want to see today, tomorrow, or the weekly close over the next 3 days. Closing prices going back below that 200, or we can get trapped here, right? We could be there for a week. Last time we were there, right? Resistance back in July, or over a week, resistance on that 200. We broke right through it, so we don't want to give it back just yet. We want the bulls to remain here and remain strong. That needs to hold at roughly 59.5, okay? Let's go out to the bigger picture, the weekly chart. This is what we need to be focusing on for the macro. So the long-term investors watch the weekly chart, right? So what is our biggest level here? Well, we have our swing lows. This is the important level. We've rejected off of it so far. The EMA 8, our wick high of 62.7. Rejected off the EMA 8, rejected off the 21 in the yellow. That's the biggest pivot level. Ideally, for the bulls, we would love to close back above, 62K this week in 2 days, 9 hours. Depending on when you watch this, go check it out. The worst case scenario for the bulls to kind of maintain their momentum from these 49K lows, we want to see this EMA 34, the orange line, kind of where we loosely held back here. And that number is right at the 58K level. If we close under 58K, crossing the streams, Egon, and we could be in a bit of trouble. So watch for that. Worst case, if the bears want to win bigly, we close back under here, which that low close is 55.8. If we close under 55.8, high probability of going lower. How much lower? I'm glad you asked. Where's our next support level? It's none other than here, right? This is high probability of testing this zone if we close a weekly candle under 55K. Like if we take out that low close, no bueno. Okay, that's a big drop. Continuation. Doesn't mean we have to go there immediately, but the high probability, it says we're going to hit that if we take out that low. But so far, so good. Again, low closings, we're good. We have a higher low close. Let's maintain that by all definitions of bull. Okay, so if we move up again, what we want to see is not only how this candle closes, what that candle would close like. Maybe we get a hammer candle. We're not going to get a dragonfly doji because the candle, the wick is too high now. So even if we close up here or close down here, right, dragonfly dojis do not need and cannot have a high upper wick. Okay, so that's out the window at this point. We could potentially get a loosely followed hammer candle, which is still bullish. Long lower tail is always bullish. We want to close green. Again, that green has to maintain higher than this where we opened. So the open price is 58,161. Close above that, this will remain green and will be a bullish candle. So that's not important enough to get a bullish candle. We want to see the follow. You have to have follow through. Again, it works for bulls and bears. So we have a bearish candle last week, bullish candle this week, potentially. We still have to wait for the close. And then we want to see follow through. Ideally, for the follow through next week, just close above the EMA 21 if we can't do it this week. Ideally, back above this median Bollinger Band at 65K. And then higher probability of this being a head fake to the downside, bear trap, so to speak, and rally. Continuous rally if we were to close next week's candle at 65K followed with a bullish close this week. Then high probability of not only all-time highs, but a massive rally in the weeks and months ahead. So a little too early to say, but just preparing you for all scenarios. Again, do not want to close under this candle. We do want to close anywhere above the orange EMA 34, which is 58K. Hopefully that helps you out. Let's get to our car and quote of the day, and then we'll get you out of here on your weekend. Oh, one more thing I do want to mention. Hopefully it didn't click off yet. Bitcoin dominance. Let's look at this. I threw this out on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. It's always Twitter. The Bitcoin dominance chart. Interestingly enough, this is currently at the 618 Fibonacci from all the way back for our 2021 highs, swing lows in our bear market of August 2022. And now we're back at the 618, which is coincidentally the same pivot point as our swing lows from 4 years ago, last August. Pivot low, 4 years later, maybe pivot high. Why does this matter? I'm glad you asked. This would be the start, potentially, right? If we have a downward rally or a top in Bitcoin dominance, that would be the start of a potential alt season. Doesn't mean we have to, but it's an area of interest for sure. If we break through here, the next level is, mid to low 60s, which, is a decent resistance zone. We might just be entering a little bit of a part of it, of a zone. So I think somewhere in this area, it could be right now, 58, 62, 63%. Certainly on the monthly scale, if we zoom out a little bit, it becomes a little bit more clear, right? Let's go to the monthly. And you can see these kind of low hesitations, low close here, low close here. Makes a little bit more sense, a little bit more area of impact. You got the 100-month moving average at 62%. Once we get a top here and we have a rally down, a bearish movement, so to speak, that's when alts will start to spark and nuke to the high side. That's what we're all waiting for. We need this to top, interestingly enough. Previous swing low, maybe new swing high in the next month or two. Now, this can take some time, right? Look at all the many times we tried here. We tried here for weeks. If we go back to the weekly chart, right? Let's go back and look at this. Like 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row, we tested this. We could do that again here. 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row, holding resistance before ultimately moving back down, having a great September going into Q4, right? That's what we're paying attention to. Hopefully you found that a little bit more helpful. One more thing I do want to mention is what if the lows are in for Bitcoin? And let's see what would our projections be based on the Fibonacci level. I'm glad you asked. Let's look at it. There are swing low to swing high. And if you hold down control on your keyboard, you can get these snapping right to them so you're not guessing or loosely hitting these. This goes exactly to the high and exactly to the low if you hold down control. And then we get I feel like that's still off. That's not the exact number, but we're going to go with it. Oh, there we go. That looks better. Still feel like it's slightly off, so these are a little bit loose, but for the sake of the video, 95K is the 1618, and the 2618 is all the way up at over 140K. 3618 is over 200, and we're starting to reach for those. But these are definitely going to be areas of interest when we get to them. Obviously, the 100K level is really close to the 1618. We'll have to pay attention how sentiment is there. And again, this is assuming the lows are in. If they're not in and we do go lower, no big deal. We can just adjust them, and it changes it slightly, but these are still pretty close to how it's going to be. When we break new all-time highs, 95K, 140, 145K. Throwing that out as a bonus. Quote and card of the day coming right up. Quote of the day. If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. A little bit of humanity. I don't make these up, right? Let's get to our card of the day. Much better here. Here we go. 4GT Heritage Edition. So you can find these for upwards of $1 million plus. if you're able to even find them. Pretty rare cars. If you don't follow Manny Koshman on YouTube, he has a bunch of supercars and hypercars. He has one of these. I suggest if you're any kind of car enthusiast, you follow him. He's got Bugattis, McLarens galore, real ones, not just the fake ones in the model cars like this guy has. But there you go. There is the rear. There you have it. That's all, folks. Have a great weekend. Go touch some grass. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching this long if you have. Bitcoin Orange. Start of the day.